What is going on, guys? My name is Stuber, and I'm here to break down day number 4 of the NBA Summer League on Draftkings.com. If you guys are new here or haven't done so already, I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe, like this video, and comment below with your favorite play of the day, or comment really anything. Helps out the algorithm, helps me get more views and get my information out to more people. Like always, guys, I usually try to make these videos somewhat as close to lock as possible. I know that might be inconvenient for some of you guys, but I like to have, the most up-to-date information on these things, and I'm going to be talking about a couple of those things. And it is Summer League, so we are still going to be waiting for a couple pieces of news throughout the day. If you guys want to have that most up-to-date information, make sure to join the Discord. That link is down below and in the pinned comment. It is completely free. If you guys want my personal cheat sheets, player pools, lineup cores, and other stuff that is a part of my Patreon, that is linked down below. $25 for the rest of the month, and that includes NFL preseason. Have a lot of content planned out for the rest of the year and the rest of the month especially, but let's just jump right into it. One last thing before we get into the slate, if you guys want to help out the sponsor of this video, UnderdogFantasy.com, if you guys sign up and deposit using code Stuber, S-T-U-B-E-R, link is in the description, you'll receive $25 in free credits instantly in your account with any deposit. So you can minimum deposit and get $25 for free. You can join the puppy too, which is about to fill. It's filling up like 10% every day. $100,000 up top. You can enter that thing 5 times. $100,000 up top. I'm trying to get in as many entries as I can in the meantime, but I'll see you guys in the drafts. But let's just jump right into the slate. What you guys are here for: the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Orlando Magic, a 167.5 over/under. Magic are currently 5-point favorites. No surprise there. This Magic team, although they went to overtime last time, it is essentially a super team in Summer League standards. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they ran a 9-man rotation in Game 1, but we are really waiting for the news on guys like Isaac Okoro and Evan Mobley. We knew before the Summer League started that Okoro was only going to play 2 of the 5 games, and Evan Mobley was going to play 3 of the 5 games. We have no confirmation on which games those are going to be, but we do know that they both played in Game 1. So, Okoro is only going to play 1 of these next 5 games. Is it going to be this game and then he sits out the next 3? I think that's likely. Or they might spread it out. It could be the same thing with Evan Mobley. I'm not all that interested in either of these guys, although I was interested in Okoro last game because they wanted to see him running the point, handling the ball, and which he was. He just didn't shoot particularly well, and he wasn't as aggressive as I thought he might have been. And at 8,300, I do think he can easily pay off this price tag, but there's just much better plays on this slate. Now, if Okoro were to miss this game, I would be a lot more interested in guys like Broderick Thomas and Lamar Stevens. I think both these guys are decent secondary plays. Actually, I would almost consider Stevens an A-tier play, just given how many minutes he ended up playing in this game. Broderick Thomas, he shot 1 for 10 and still put up a somewhat serviceable game at 20.8 fantasy points. But if I'm going to play anybody from this team, it's going to be Lamar Stevens at 5,200, or it's going to be Martin Kabengele, who is certainly my favorite play on this slate. Ended up putting 26.8 fantasy points, only 4,400. Center isn't the strongest position today, and from what we were hearing from beat reporters and coaches, as well as what they were talking about when it came to how many games they were playing, they wanted to see Evan Mobley play the 4, which gave Kabengele a lot more time at the 5. You're going to be closer to the basket, more rebounds for him. Only shot 3 times in the first game, and we know how active he is. And if you guys are part of my in-game showdown group, Clippers were usually on the slate, and Kabengele was an absolute monster in any minutes he's given. So yeah, 4,400. One of my favorite overall plays on the slate, but definitely my favorite play on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Move over to the Orlando Magic, a team where the minutes are relatively spread out. They had a 12-man rotation, but 3 of the bench players only played single-digit minutes. Guys like Suggs, Anthony, RJ Hampton, Wagner. I think their minutes are relatively safe, but their prices are just so high. I'm not that interested in anyone. If I'm going to play anybody from this team, it's probably going to be Jalen Suggs in a few tournaments, if I have the money to get up to him, just because there is so much value on the slate. He obviously has immense upside. I would also like to mention that this game went to overtime, and so the starters plus Brazdeikis played 2 additional minutes. Brazdeikis ended up closing over John Teske, and Teske was the guy who ended up starting this game. Just wanted to note that. And so Suggs was only played 26 minutes in regulation. So for 9,400, it's not that appealing, and it's a similar situation with Cole Anthony, Wagner, Hampton. Their prices just aren't there to justify playing them with how many minutes they're likely to be playing, even though they are very, very good players. It's just the production is so spread out. There's not just one individual player on this team that shows out more so than the other, because while it was Suggs last game, it could have just as easily been Cole Anthony or RJ Hampton or Wagner. So yeah, mostly GPP plays for me. Move over to the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the New Orleans Pelicans, a 165.5 over-under. Pelicans are currently 2.5 point favorites. So on the OKC side, they ran a 9-man rotation after Josh Giddey got hurt after the first 5 minutes. If you looked at beat writer speculation and looked at the pictures of Giddey's ankle, it does not look like he's going to give it a go in this game. I mean, he's their 6th overall pick. It is summer league. There's no reason to be pushing him in this game. I fully expect him to miss this game, which is really going to open up things for Theo Maledon at 7,200. You know, he made a ton of starts last year for the Thunder. A real level NBA talent, 2nd-year pro. Absolutely love him, assuming that Giddey is going to miss his game. Played 32 minutes with a stat line of 4 for 11 for 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists. He was seemingly he was like the main ball handler and seemingly the only ball handler. Every time he was out there on the court, he was taking the ball up. They weren't really spreading it around, which makes sense because I assume that they were expecting to split it between him and Giddey. Maybe they get Tre Mann more involved with ball handling. Also, Tre Mann, he was chucking last game, but he couldn't hit anything. He was bricking everything. So he has some GPP appeal. But it ended up being Charlie Brown in the second half that started for Josh Giddey. But it seemed like it was Aaron Wiggins who benefited the most from it overall. He ended up playing about 22 minutes in this game, I believe. Let me check just to make sure. Yeah, played 22 minutes, and he was the guy that was out there shooting the most in place of Josh Giddey. Played the most minutes of these bench players. So without Giddey, I really love Maledon. I think Tre Mann is worth a GPP shot, and then Aaron Wiggins is a decent play coming off the bench. I assume Charlie Brown gets the start again here. Move over to the New Orleans Pelicans. 10-man rotation game 1, but David DeLeo only played 7 minutes, so really just a 9-man rotation. Like this roster is very, very small. One of the smallest rosters on the entire slate, and that's what you like to see out of these summer league teams. Kira Lewis at 7,600. One of my favorite GPP plays on the slate. He's clearly the best player on this team. And he had a lackluster game 1. Unfortunately, he was on the early slate, so not many people ended up getting burned by him, and so I think his ownership might be a bit higher than what it would have been if he was on the main slate and he dropped only 26 fantasy points. But at 7,600, I don't think very many people are going to go to him. The minutes were there, and he was their main ball handler, bring it up the court, and they were talking about it before the season, before the summer league, about how they wanted to get him involved offensively in the summer league as the main ball handler and facilitator. And we know that he can score at will when he gets rolling. So I love him in GPPs. Maybe not a cash game play for me, just because there's some other plays that we'll get to later that I like even more. But I do like Kira Lewis quite a bit. And then Trey Murphy. Yeah, Trey Murphy is just not on the slate here. And he led the team in scoring with 26 points on 15 shot attempts. He is one of their bigs. And so it's really weird that Trey Murphy isn't on this DK slate after playing last game and putting up the most points. Kind of bizarre to me. But for the rest of the team, I'm not very interested in them. Move over to the Toronto Raptors at the Golden State Warriors, a 171.5 over-under. Raptors are currently 3-point favorites. 10-man rotation game 1. But they were without Yuta Watanabe. I got to update this. And Precious Achiuwa. But it looks like both of these guys are, as of like an hour ago, that both of these guys are going to end up playing in this game. Both these guys were out due to Watanabe playing for Japan in the Olympics and Achiuwa playing for Nigeria in the Olympics. But it looks like both these guys are going to end up playing in this game, and I assume they start these games. And so Yuta Watanabe at 5,800, probably a slam dunk play on this slate. He has the out tag next to him. Hopefully that lowers his ownership. We saw that has been the case for a couple of these slates, where if they have the out tag next to him, they're likely not going to carry as much ownership as they honestly should. Watanabe obviously a part of the rotation in the for the Raptors last year, and if you guys watch the Olympics at all, yeah, he's an absolute monster. 5,800 is an abysmal price tag. He should easily be $2,000 more around the Scotty Barnes price tag. Now, Scotty Barnes is interesting at 7,500. I was more interested in him before we got confirmation that Watanabe and Precious Achiuwa were going to play, just because of how much he ended up playing. That last game, played 30 minutes, shot 8 for 13 for 18 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. If you guys were watching the game, he was incredibly active out there on the court, and that's what you like to see. But with the team getting a bit more full with talent, it's not really my kind of guy to play, especially with the New York Knicks guys on the slate. So on this team, I'm really focusing on Watanabe and then Malachi Flynn as well. Like I would have liked Malachi Flynn a lot more if these guys weren't playing. I still think he is like a secondary play on this slate at 5,600. He did shoot like 4 for 5 from 3 last game, so I would be wary of chasing Flynn, but he is like a real NBA talent and a part of the rotation at times last year for the Raptors. He should shoot a bit more, or he should assist a bit more with better players out there. I don't think he shoots as much, but we'll see. He went from like an A tier play for me to like a B tier play after learning that Yuta and Precious are going to play in this game. And then Freddie Gillespie at 4,200. I'm curious to see if he still gets the start. I doubt he does. I'm assuming Precious does. But it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibilities that Freddie, Precious, and Yuta start at the in the front court with Scotty Barnes and Malachi Flynn. We're definitely gonna have to monitor that situation. If Gillespie does start, I don't mind him at 4,200. He shot like 1 for 9 in this game, and still put up 23.8 fantasy points, and you'll take that at 4,200. And then obviously Precious isn't on this slate as well, so definitely missing some key pieces on this slate on DraftKings. Over to the Golden State Warriors, a 10-man rotation, and the minutes are fairly spread out on this team. Kuminga, aka Cum Bucket, dude, quite the nickname that the Warriors fans have given him. 8,900. I'm not all that interested in him at that price tag. Moses Moody, on the other hand, only 6,800, and I think he had a floor game last time out, and I think that he has a lot of room to improve on his last game's performance. If you look at, they did play in the Sacramento Summer League, so we do have a bit more information on this than people know. And so the one game that Moody ended up playing in the Sacramento Summer League, he played 24 minutes, shot 7 for 18, 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists in one game. So a 30-point performance from him, which is a decent, probably a pretty underwhelming stat line for this. But if he's going to continue to shoot like 18 times a game, I think he does carry upside at 6,800. Now, Kyle Guy, I was talking about a lot, didn't dress up for any of the Sacramento Summer League games, ended up making his debut for the Warriors last game out, only played 17 minutes. And I was like, guys, if he gets a start over Peyton or Giuseppe, which I wouldn't be the slightest bit surprised if he started over Giuseppe this game, just because they want to give him more looks. Kyle Guy only played 17 minutes, shot 4 for 10, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. 5,400. I wish he was a bit cheaper. He would need to draw the start for me to be really interested in him. But dude, playing 14 minutes or 17 minutes rather, and putting at 27 fantasy points, I wasn't the slightest bit surprised that happened. I just wish he was at a cheaper price tag so I could get up to him. And then Gary Payton, only 4,700. He actually got a price decrease at a weaker shooting guard spot. So really interesting that happened. It went down from 49 to 4,700. One of the better plays on the slate. He as well only played one game in the Sacramento League, which makes me think that they really like him because they played all these guys in the Sacramento Summer League except Moody, Kuminga, and Payton, with Kuminga and Moody being their first round picks this year. So obviously, if they're moving them around in trios, I think it's safe to say that Payton is locked into his minutes that he's been getting. In his one game in the Sacramento Summer League, he played 26 minutes, shot 6 for 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals in one game. In the Sacramento League, had a decent performance last time out, scoring 22.5 points, but he did get an assist, only 2 steals. I think that he has a lot of room to improve on his last game's performance, especially at $4,700. And of course, guys, if you guys want the rest of my game notes, here's just a sneak peek of my game notes that I write every single day and is provided in my Patreon. You guys can go ahead and check it out. I write it for every single game on the main slate, as well as my cheat sheets, my lineup cores for every single slate. Would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe, like this video, and then comment below with your favorite play of the day. I'll be talking in the Discord. If you guys have any questions, make sure to hit me up if you guys want any questions answered. Appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck, and until next time, peace.